Hello and welcome to our final Le Mans preview here at Straight Cut. I'm Rob Hansford, and as ever, joining me is Toby Trice. Hi, Toby. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm really good. Really excited to talk about this episode today. We'll be talking about the LMGT3 category, the Le Mans 24 hour. The one I'm most excited about, to be fair, because this is kind of my aspirations. So I keep quite close attention on this series. And one day I hope that I can enter this category, and be having a very different episode than what we will be today.
Yeah, and there's plenty to talk about and digest, isn't there? With the same number of cars competing in this category as the hypercar class. LMGT3 is an all new, obviously category for this year's WEC Championship. First time it will be tackling the Le Mans 24 hours, and yeah, it's an array of teams, an array of cars. It's gonna be a busy race for everyone, isn't it, in that category?
Yeah, it's going to be a quality race. I mean, this is it's a true pro-am sort of category. All teams have got to have a bronze driver. Um, they've got a difficult job because there's a varying level of experience at this level, and 24 hours is a huge thing to compete at for those bronze drivers. And yeah, it's a massive grid. I mean, there's a huge selection of cars, an array of manufacturers, and we've got some really exciting stuff. Seeing McLaren back on the grid.
Yeah, obviously it's McLaren. It's a big year for McLaren. It's their first time back at Le Mans since obviously the late 1990s. Obviously when they won it with BMW powered engine. It's yeah, it's going to be a landmark season for them. It's going to be interesting to see how they get on. Um, Obviously they've got three cars in the field, so they're not actually like taking it lightly.
No, they're probably invested in this, aren't they? This is quite a big step up for McLaren, and they've got some great teams running the cars as well. So it'll be an interesting 24 for them. We know that the 720S is a phenomenal race car. I mean, it does very well throughout Europe, and it's a very successful car they've got. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. And I don't think really they're going to run particularly into too many sort of issues with regards to reliability either, because McLaren's really invested in this. They're really looking forward to seeing how they can perform, and they certainly don't want to be letting down the brand that they're running.
No, exactly. And it's, I mean, I've had sort of the privilege of being able to drive a road going version of the 720, and it's, it's an incredible machine just on the road, let alone obviously once it's fully spec'd up in GT3 attire. So I'm really excited to see how they pan out. And I wouldn't rule out a top three potential position for them if it all comes together, to what they want from, setup perspective and having a clean race. I mean, what but what team is sort of really standing out for you? Who are you putting your money on?
Well, I've got a bit of heart and head situation here, to be fair. For me, I think the Manthe Porsche 911 team are certainly the ones to watch. They've currently been running so well at every event so far this year. In particular, with the Malakian Pure X Racing, I think they're the ones to keep your eye on, just because they just really haven't put a foot wrong. They're very consistent. They're a very well run outfit, and of course they're a Porsche 911. It's where my fan base is at really. So that would be my kind of prediction for a win. Having said that, Team WRT with the BMW M4 GT3 car is a bit of an interesting one for me, because Darren Lung is competing at this year's Le Mans 24 Hour. Now, Darren, I competed with him in the Ginetta GT Academy back in 21. Proper nice bloke. He suffered a lot then from his weight in the car compared to the grid, because we didn't have the kind of the weight category, etc. He jumped into British GT and he absolutely blitzed it. He done such a great job getting crowned champion in British GT, which is a great achievement for him. And he stepped into the WEC series this year and doing a really fine job, along with his co-drivers. So I would love to see Darren do well, because I know what a talent he is from a bronze perspective. I know he's got a lot of ability and he's learned a lot in a very short space of time. So there's that little bit of me there that I think, I know that the Manthey team are going to be very strong. But go Darren. I'd love to see him sit on that top step. It'd be really cool. He's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, and obviously in a sister car, you've got none other than Valentino Rossi. Um, obviously starting Le Mans 24 hours for the very first time. It's going to be really interesting to see how he gets on, isn't it? He's he's never sort of tackled an event in this way before. It's going to be good.
Yeah, it's a different mindset for Rossi, right? I mean, and also there's a huge fan base. I think this is a huge piece of history that he's coming to Le Mans. I mean, he's such a big name, Rossi, to the point where I mean, he's a superstar, right? He's one of the greats on two wheels, and he's certainly showing his pace in a four wheeled machine, and he's done very well so far. So I think, yeah, they're going to be a team to look out for. They've certainly done well in a short space of time with the drivers they've got. But that's going to be the battle for me. It's going to be the Manthey versus BMW battle, I think, for that outright win.
Yeah, I suppose the only frustrating thing from, obviously Rossi's perspective is obviously didn't get to drive last time out of Spa with obviously their car being caught out at that in the crash early on in the race. So he never actually got any seat time. So I suppose, that could be playing on their minds ever so slightly coming into Le Mans that he didn't get to race, last time out. But I'm sure with obviously the way the practice is set up and qualifying for Le Mans that he'll be fully up to speed by the time the 24 event comes around. But as you say, it's going to be interesting. I've got my eye on a team we haven't mentioned yet. Obviously, the Lamborghini of the Iron Dames. They're suddenly marking themselves out to sort of be real contenders. I think, Sarah Bovey getting pole last time out around Spa, that was pretty impressive. Whether the team can kind of do that again this time, I'm not sure. But do you know what? I really think that they could be in contention for overall victory in the LMGT3.
And what a piece of history that will be as well, right? I mean, this is the first. This is many first in the Le Mans 24 hour, and they do have every chance of winning that outright, don't they? They're a really, really well sorted team. Sarah Bovey's rapid, and she's a bronze. And ultimately, within GT racing, a lot of the performance does come down to how successful the bronze driver is. The pro drivers, they're all very, very tight and very close. But if your bronze driver's rapid, then you have a very, very good chance of competing at the sharp end. And I think that outfit there would be really great, and an all-female team it'd be quite something to see that at Le Mans, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and obviously their preparations haven't gone entirely to plan either. With obviously Dorian Pin obviously having to withdraw from this year's race after picking up obviously fractured ribs, forcing her out with injury. Um, they haven't exactly they're not lacking experience there in terms of obviously replacement is Rahel Frey, who's she's done just trying to think. I think she's done it about 6 times she started the race. So, she's got plenty of experience, in terms of how to tackle this event. So, a really strong replacement, even if, it's not the ideal lineup that the team was sort of hoping to start with.
Yeah, and usually like replacement drivers tend to be the ones that are really, really hungry, right? Because they weren't their first choice, so they're going to be pushing as hard as they can to make sure they're the first choice next time. So there's a lot of pressure there, but actually I think a driver of that caliber will soak that up and put it to good use, and I think she'll have some very, very good stints. So it'll be an interesting team to watch out for.
Yeah, no, definitely will. I mean, are there any sort of dark horses lurking around for you in this category?
Well, I wouldn't say dark horses, but the Ferrari 296 is a machine, right? It's a fantastic car. The AF Course team that run those have always done a really great job at WEC, and certainly some great success in history of Le Mans 24 hours. So I think they're certainly going to be a good contention to watch. But it'll just be interesting to see actually how close this race will be, because I think this year, for me, this is one of the most competitive 24 hours that we've seen at GT3 level. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be a frantic start, right? There's a lot of cars on this grid. It's a long race, but having said that, it is very much a 24-hour sprint. So it's going to be an interesting sort of position to see where those early leaders can get their heads down and see how they do. But the strategy in GT3 is ever more important.
Yeah, and obviously, especially going through the night is going to be traffic management as well, isn't it? Of trying to keep out of everyone's way. We saw it last year, quite a few of the GT3 cars being sort of causing incidents inadvertently through being in the wrong place at the wrong time in traffic, with faster cars trying to make their way through. So, as ever, that's going to be sort of a massive factor as well in seeing where they end up at the finish line.
Yeah, and a lot of that will come down to the bronze drivers, I think, isn't it? They've got the bronze driver's got a huge responsibility on the outright success of that team, and certainly the traffic management is very difficult. You know, I know from a lot of the drivers that have come into WEC from at bronze level, they're used to being the fastest things on track, right? You know, in British GT, for example, Darren Lung, he's had to navigate slower cars with the GT4 category, and kind of he was the attacker into that traffic management. But it's the other way around now, isn't it? The speed difference from the hypercar class and GT3 is huge. It's a huge speed differential. So they just got to keep their eyes on the mirrors and keep the concentration up, and it's very, very difficult. I haven't done that through the night. My only experience of 24-hour racing is in go-karts. I've done a couple of go-kart races at 24 hours, and you know, when you get to those early hour stints, and you've got you double stint it, it's so difficult to concentrate, and mistakes can be made. So it's gonna be interesting to watch those bronze drivers and see how they perform. And you know, what I know from Darren, I know he wants to win it, so it'll be cool to see where he ends up.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be one of the more interesting GT3 events that we've had for some years. Obviously, it's the first time we'll see this class tackle Le Mans in earnest, but I think it could really sort of live up to its billing. And overall, you know, we just have a really another exciting cracking Le Mans 24 hours race. I mean, it's just around the corner now. You excited, getting ready for it?
Oh mate, I'm well excited. I can't wait to watch it. Yeah, I can't wait. Unfortunately, I won't be there. It'll be armchair watching it at home. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing this race unfold. It'd be nice to see some good dry time, because last year the weather was really poor for various stints. But yeah, no, it's going to be a really exciting race. I can't wait to see it all unfold, and you know, just wish all the drivers well, good luck, and put on a great show for us all.
Yeah, it's just time to stock up on your energy drink of choice, isn't it? And
Don't know about that. I'm on a health thing at the moment with racing. But yeah, no, certainly get the snacks in. I'll be watching the race and looking forward to seeing how it unfolds.
yeah, well, no, hopefully it will be a great race. Obviously, we'll follow them on up with a review video once the race is over. But in the meantime, thanks very much, Toby, and thanks very much to you for joining us for another episode of Straight Cut. We'll see you next time.
See you after the 24 hour.